Thomas Sankara, the African revolutionary and visionary leader. Thomas Sankara, often referred to as the Che Guevara of Africa, was a revolutionary leader, visionary statesman, and staunch advocate for Pan-Africanism. Born on December 23, 1949, in Yako, Upper Volta, now Burkina Faso, Sankara rose to prominence as the president of Burkina Faso from 1983 to 1987. His tenure, though tragically cut short, remains one of the most radical and transformative periods in African political history. Sankara's leadership style, policies, and ideals made him an enduring symbol of anti-imperialism, self-reliance, and social justice. Early life and military career. Thomas Sankara was born into a modest family in a country grappling with the challenges of colonialism. His early education was shaped by missionary schools, which instilled discipline and a strong moral compass. At the age of 19, he joined the military, an institution that would later serve as a platform for his revolutionary aspirations. In the military, Sankara excelled, earning opportunities to study abroad, including training in Madagascar and France. His exposure to global ideologies and liberation movements profoundly influenced his worldview. He became deeply inspired by Marxism, socialism, and the struggles for independence across Africa and Latin America. Rise to power. By the late 1970s, Sankara had become a prominent figure within the military and political circles of Upper Volta. His charisma, intellect, and commitment to justice distinguished him from his peers. In 1981, he was appointed Secretary of State for Information in the government, but resigned a year later in protest of policies he considered contrary to the interests of the people. In 1983, Sankara was appointed Prime Minister, but his progressive views and criticism of neo-colonialism led to his arrest by the ruling authorities. This action triggered widespread protests and a coup led by his allies, including Blaise Compaoré. On August 4, 1983, Sankara became the president of Upper Volta, marking the beginning of a revolutionary era, transforming Upper Volta into Burkina Faso. One of Sankara's first acts as president was to rename the country from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, which means Land of Incorruptible People, in the native Mossi and Dioula languages. This symbolic change reflected his vision of a nation built on integrity, self-reliance, and unity. Sankara implemented sweeping reforms aimed at eradicating poverty, reducing inequality, and breaking free from the grip of foreign dependency. His policies were rooted in a philosophy of revolutionary pragmatism, combining ideological principles with practical solutions to the nation's problems. Revolutionary reform, economic self-reliance. Sankara prioritized economic independence, launching ambitious programs to promote local production and reduce reliance on foreign aid. He encouraged Burkinabè citizens to consume what we produce and produce what we consume. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso achieved self-sufficiency in food production within 4 years through agricultural initiatives that included irrigation projects, improved farming techniques, and the distribution of land to peasants. 2. Women's empowerment. Sankara was a pioneer in advocating for women's rights in a deeply patriarchal society. He appointed women to leadership positions, outlawed forced marriages and female genital mutilation, and promoted women's education and economic participation. He famously stated, "The revolution and women's liberation go hand in hand." 3. Health and education. His government prioritized public health and education, launching massive vaccination campaigns that successfully eradicated diseases such as measles and meningitis. Literacy rates improved significantly under his administration due to an emphasis on free education and the construction of schools in rural areas. 4. Environmental conservation. Sankara was ahead of his time in recognizing the importance of environmental sustainability. He initiated reforestation programs to combat desertification, planting over 10 million trees during his presidency. 5. Anti-corruption measures. Committed to leading by example, Sankara reduced government waste by cutting salaries of public officials, including his own. and selling off luxury vehicles in favor of modest transportation. He famously lived a humble life, owning few personal possessions and refusing to exploit state resources for personal gain. Anti-imperialism and Pan-Africanism. Sankara was a vocal critic of imperialism and neocolonialism, challenging the dominance of Western powers in African affairs. He advocated for African unity and called for the cancellation of odious debts imposed by former colonial powers. In a landmark speech at the Organization of African Unity, OAU, in 1987, he declared, "Debt is a cleverly managed reconquest of Africa. We cannot pay, and we must not pay." His bold stance often alienated Western governments and international financial institutions, but it won him admiration from progressive movements worldwide. Challenges and opposition. Despite his achievements, Sankara's policies faced significant challenges. Domestically, his radical reforms and authoritarian governance style generated resistance from traditional elites, political opponents, and segments of the population unaccustomed to rapid change. Internationally, his defiance of Western interests made him a target of hostility. France, the former colonial power, and other Western allies viewed Sankara's policies as a threat to their influence in the region. Assassination and legacy. On October 15, 1987, Thomas Sankara was assassinated in a coup orchestrated by his former ally and close friend, Blaise Compaoré, who subsequently assumed power. The coup was widely believed to have been supported by external forces threatened by Sankara's revolutionary agenda. Sankara's death marked the end of a brief but impactful era. Yet, his legacy endures as a symbol of resistance, hope, and the possibility of transformative leadership in Africa. Global impact. Thomas Sankara remains an icon of revolutionary change, inspiring generations of activists, leaders, and movements worldwide. His ideas resonate in contemporary struggles against inequality, corruption, and environmental degradation. His vision for a self-reliant, united Africa continues to inspire debates on the continent's future. Sankara's life is a testament to the power of ideals and the enduring impact of courageous leadership. Conclusion. Thomas Sankara's brief presidency left an indelible mark on Burkina Faso and the broader African continent. His unwavering commitment to justice, equality, and self-determination serves as a guiding light for those striving to build a fairer and more sustainable world. Though his life was tragically cut short, Sankara's vision and values remain as relevant today as they were during his revolutionary tenure.